are here with David Haigh. He's the CEO of Brand Finance. David, hi. From your perspective, what is the key challenge for AMC brands in comparison to other products and services?
Well, the big challenge for AMC brands is that forever, more or less, in hospitals around the world, branding, marketing and commerciality have not really been considered to be appropriate. They are academic centres, they're medical centres, and I think very often they feel that all that branding and marketing stuff is not appropriate. And that really needs to change because it makes a huge difference to their success.
So thinking of success, are they getting a fair deal? We think about the revenues of pharmaceutical companies, for example. Are AMCs seeing enough of the slice of the pie, and what could a commercial strategy do to improve that?
I think one of the problems for AMCs is they're in a slightly ambiguous position because as academics, they love sharing their IP. They feel that that's a collaborative thing to do in order to push forward the boundaries of medical science. So they're usually in a bit of a quandary. They want to give away the research so that they can help push forward the boundaries. Whereas if you're looking at it from a commercial point of view, they really need to be working out, how am I actually going to make money from this? Not for some grubby commercial reason, but in order to boost the revenues of the AMC to pursue its objectives. So they're in this weird, ambiguous position, but what they need to do is get a lot more business-like. So without becoming too commercial, business-like. So they charge the right amount for the IP they've created, and they charge the right amount for the use and endorsement of their brands.
So how does the work that Brand Finance does, for example, really support an AMC to do that?
Well, just stepping back a moment, let's talk about the scale of the opportunity. Globally, 10 trillion is spent on healthcare, and something like 300 billion is spent just on R&D in the medical world. Now that fuels a huge amount of development, both in medical equipment, in pharmaceutical remedies, in healthcare generally. So, but the AMCs investigate what could be improved. They then have to have partners. And generally speaking, the pharmaceuticals and the companies like Siemens and ResMed rely on AMCs to give them ideas, which they then commercially develop. And really all that needs to happen is that the AMCs need to get a fairer slice of the pie. Sometimes they do, particularly in America, but very often they don't because they're not commercial enough. And Brand Finance, we are here riding shotgun. We're there to help them, to say, here's what you can charge for a partnership, here's what you can charge for giving an endorsement. This is what we think your licensing rates should be. Just generally give advice on the commercial side.
So if you had one takeaway, I guess, for the audience, as it relates to the value of brands to AMCs, what would your message be?
Well, historically, AMCs Johns Hopkins or Oxford University or KFSH in Saudi Arabia, they would not really have considered themselves brands. They wouldn't consider themselves in any way anything to do with the branding industry. But it is quite obvious when you look at the reputation they have, the affinity of stakeholders, they fulfill all of the requirements of being brands. And the point of a brand is to reassure audiences so that their preferences are to do things with them, to spend money, to be in the hospital, to collaborate or whatever it might be. And really what they need to do is to understand how their brands can enhance their commercial position. And we are here to help them do that.
Thank you.